Hey guys, today I'm going to try and convince you guys to make your bed every morning. No, I'm not going to be like your parents and nag you about it every day. Nor am I going to be like a US drill sergeant and scream at you guys and force you guys to clean your bed every day. Instead, I'm going to try and use some facts and some reasoning to try and convince you guys. Former US Navy SEALs Admiral William McRaven once said, "If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed." While that may sound silly and people laughed at him while he said that, it really does ring true. Because in order to do big tasks and make big things happen, like changing the world, you have to start off with completing the small tasks and doing them correctly, like making your bed, in order to know that you can do big tasks successfully as well. I'm going to try and use some of what he said, as well as some of the findings that I personally have found, in order to try and persuade you to make your bed every morning. Hopefully by the end of the speech, tomorrow morning, you'll make your bed. Okay, to be honest, I never made my bed as a kid. I didn't find the point of it. I thought it was a waste of time, and I just really didn't do it that often. I really did it on a whim sometimes if I was bored and whatnot. However, that all changed when I started college. I started being more on time, more focused, and I realized that while it can be some of the other habits that I've made, I also realized that bed making could have been a part. And I'm going to try and share some of these benefits and some of my knowledge with you in hopes of convincing you as well. So, making your bed, people around the world make their bed. And while most of them say, "Hey, I just want a cleaner bed," or "I just want to be in a more clean environment," there are other reasons on why they do that as well. Making your bed makes you want to make other parts of your room more clean, and eventually that snowballs to bigger things. It also makes you more productive, as in it makes you work more and it makes you want to work more, and it also helps fight against procrastination. 3, it gives you better sleep and happiness. So let's get into some of the specifics of these points, right? So number 1, cleaning your bed every day may not be such a big thing, right? However, if you make your bed every morning, chances are you'll start to realize that other parts of your room aren't as clean. And the chances of you already making your room more clean and you not making your bed is very low. Because if you don't clean your bed, which is something that you sleep in every single day, chances are you don't clean your room either. So cleaning your bed every day sticks out, because a clean bed in a messy room doesn't really sit well with anybody. So knowing this, you'll start to try and clean other parts of your room and walk outside of your room and see other dirty parts of your house, like your kitchen, your bathroom, your living room, and start to make small changes. And they won't be that big. They don't have to be that big, like cleaning the entire room. They can just be something small, like taking something dirty and throwing it away, or removing something that's not necessary there. So let's move on to how a clean room or a clean bed can make you more productive. A clean environment makes you more focused and makes you more productive, right? But if you think about it just with the making the bed example, you already completed a small task every morning. Every morning you make your bed. You already finish a task. You give yourself some self-esteem points. You feel more accomplished, and you'll start to make you'll start on other small tasks as well. Navy SEALs, every single day, they also make their bed, and they have bigger, much more tough tasks throughout the day, and they have to be ready. First, they have to know that they can make their beds properly before going to, for example, war, or doing ocean swims, or doing very rough training in the night. Here's the statistics that show how bed makers compare to non-bed makers. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but most bed makers are rated as more productive, as well as getting to work right away when they arrive at workplace instead of procrastinating or stalling on time. The US Admiral once said again that doing such a small task like this in the morning builds momentum. When you get a small task done right, you'll do another small task done right, and another one, and it goes on, and eventually you'll go on to the bigger task, knowing that since you completed these correctly, these small tasks correctly, you can also do the big task correctly. So you feel more accomplished and you feel more proud of yourself. Also, it's just like exercise, right? It's just like exercise if you exercise every day. If you exercise every day, it becomes a habit. And if you make your bed every day, it becomes a habit as well. And making these good habits are very important because according to a Duke University study, around 40% of your everyday life is not through thinking intensively about decisions you make. Rather, it's habits. 40% of your life is habits. And while people can say and argue, I don't want to make my bed every morning, it's a waste of time. I don't have time for it every morning and I don't have the energy for it. But if you really think about it, 40% of your life is through habits, and changing something small, like making your bed, adds to that 40% of your life. Almost half your life is now a little bit better. So you should make your bed every morning because habits like that can affect other things. It can lead to a happier life, which segues really nicely into our next point. Making your bed not only gives you productivity, it also gives you more sleep, and as well as better quality sleep. A National Sleep Foundation survey once found that making your bed every morning led to better sleep quality as well as better sleeping habits. That is, you wake up around at the same time and you sleep at around the same time, as well as you don't wake up in the night as frequent, nor do you wake up feeling groggy and tired. You wake up feeling more rested. Also, while researching for a book, The Happiness Project, Gretchen Rubin found that in order to be more happy with life, you have to bring about small changes, and small changes like making your bed can improve your happiness. It makes you more happy just having a nicer bed if you really think about it. And according to a 2009 study, that it showed that there was a direct relationship between stress and clutter. Those who rated their homes or would describe their homes as more dirty, unkept, wild, often had higher cortisol levels. And the opposite was true for those who made their beds. Those who describe their homes as more cleanly, more kept, usually, of course, had their beds made and their rooms clean, and they had very low stress levels. And I think that's very important because if you really think about it, there are a lot of uncontrollable things that are happening around you. Well, for example, right now, we're all stuck in quarantine and we can't really control that. However, there are some things that we can control with our lives, and having a little bit of control in uncontrollable situations can often make you less stressed, make you less vulnerable, and overall just lifts your mood up a little bit. So I highly recommend you guys do all this. Let's bring it back to just you and me now, right? Having all of these benefits of making your bed at the low cost of a minute or two out of your morning really isn't that big of a deal. It's kind of like a no-brainer. 1 or 2 minutes with all of these benefits is really, really just something that I recommend you guys all do. Making your bed would mean you are more productive, you're more happy, and you get better sleep. And finally, you just have a cleaner environment in general. And so, listen, even if all of these benefits don't really appeal to you, or you don't really care about having a cleaner environment or anything like that, just make your bed the next morning. Because if you had a bad day that day, or that day just didn't have any productivity, or you didn't want to do anything that day, or it was a day where you just didn't feel the greatest, at least you'll have a bed. That you know you've made yourself, and maybe it'll lift your mood up right before you sleep and prepare you for the next day. Stay safe. Thank you guys.